Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Have you guys read this new book called The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson? It's quite an interesting read.
Oh yeah, I just finished it not that long ago. It was about the Chicago's 1893 World's Fair and the struggles and tragedy behind it, right? If I'm correct, it was based around Daniel Burnham's struggles in the creation of the fair itself and serial killer H.H. Holmes luring fairgoers into his elaborate schemes, right?
Yeah, it had the history and the making of the fair. It's a really interesting read. There is even an overview map of the fair. The fair was built on a 600-acre plot of land where more than 200 buildings were planned to be built. The fair introduced 27 million people to new technologies. One of the main people in the story, H.H. Holmes, planned out a design for his hotel, which was built near the fair. The hotel included retail stores and 35 rooms for his customers of the fairgoers to rent. Some of the rooms in his hotel were deadly. There was an airtight and a gas chamber room. This cruel design was a part of his mischievous plan. Even though the fair was full of excitement, many stayed at the wrong place for their visit.
The murders committed by H.H. Holmes was also explored in the book. He moved to Chicago in 1886, built his house by continuously firing and hiring construction workers so that no one knows much about the structure. In the years that followed, he managed to kill more than 20 young women, including his fiancée and her sister, and some guests at his hotel.
How do you guys think it's relevant today? Personally, I found that the organization and construction of the fair, there's still so much struggle involved in today's government projects, not only with architecture and finances, but with fraud and mismanagement.
Yeah, the architectural and financial struggles that are elaborated throughout the story can really be applied to present day, especially since there will always be new buildings and structures being created, and by showing the struggles these architects went through in order to construct such beautiful creations.
I believe that this book can be relevant today because it displays the murder stories that are elaborated, and it can show how people may react in these moments of difficulty. This book is an example of one of the millions of mentally unstable individuals that have intentions of harming others.
The way the author was able to talk and elaborate about both the murder and the creation the way the author was able to talk and explain about both the murder and the creation of the process of the fair seemed to be created in a way where there were two different stories in the same book. The way the plot splits off into two separate storylines makes the event that much more intriguing, considering that two distinct personalities clash against each other, even though they didn't know each other at all. What about you guys? Did you like what the author did? Why?
Yeah, I really found it interesting that the author was able to connect the two storylines so eloquently. The two storylines are so different from each other, yet they're so interconnected. Holmes' life and the construction of the fair collide unexpectedly, and the author did a really great job creating a plot that is not only compelling but also understandable.
Yeah, personally, I also really like how the author just focused kind of on one story in each chapter and alternated between the two stories. It is a bit confusing at first since I couldn't figure out what the main plot is. However, as I read on, it made perfect sense to me and helped me understand both stories more, because so that it's not like two of them appear in the same chapter, so it's easier to understand.
In all honesty, it was a bit difficult for me to read since it felt like the two stories kept switching every page. In the beginning, I felt like I was reading two books that were joined together. It took me a while to adjust to the unique structure of the book. I had to be extra concentrated in order to fully comprehend some parts. Although the confusion caused me a bit of frustration, the two stories together were interesting, which was the reason why I was able to get through the book.
I can totally understand how confusing the structure could be. See how people may get confused, but it seemed really effective to me and helped me understand the overall story better. I really enjoyed the way the author was able to switch between the two stories, especially since you're able to get really immersed into the topic without the other topic being woven in and getting you confused.
What did you guys think about the murder itself? Were you guys expecting that outcome with Prendergast?
I wasn't expecting Prendergast to commit murder at all in the novel. The story revolves so much around the evil nature of Holmes that Prendergast didn't even cross my mind, really.
The man was practically a ticking time bomb, as Prendergast had high expectations for the mayor, and the mayor did not deliver. With his psychopathic mind constantly being teased yet neglected over and over again, I think it would make sense that he would begin to snap and just, do the deed.
After all the amazing reviews and awards the book was able to achieve, did you really enjoy the book, and do you think it was worthy of this reward?
I really thought it was worth the awards, especially with all the research and how immersive Larson was able to make it. The rhetorical devices he used throughout the book also was able to keep you on the edge of your seat and was something you could look forward to reading. What about you, Bella?
I would say that this novel deserved awards. It was eloquent and carefully constructed in a way that would not necessarily interfere with history. It was an interesting read, and the suspense and detail of the writing was very entertaining.
I thought it was worthy of the awards too, just because to me it is such a unique book, and the author did really well when it comes to telling both of the stories.
To be quite honest, I fell asleep during the early chapters, but I think it was due to the fact that I seek action. It was definitely slow at first, but the story makes up for it in delivering an intriguing style of writing. Otherwise, what do you guys think of the book? Would you guys recommend it to anyone? What would you guys give it out of, say, 5 stars?
I agree with Gavin. The first couple chapters were difficult for me to read due to the slow pace. I would definitely recommend this book to anybody that enjoys nonfiction about real-life occurrences that our generation typically does not know about. I would give this book 5 stars due to the interesting story it tells that I can't get from any other book.
Personally, I'm really a fan of nonfiction books, but I've always been a fan of books about crimes and mysteries, whether it was fiction or nonfiction. Eric Larson told both of the 2 stories in the book in a way that kept me interested throughout the book. I will give this book a 5 star. It's not perfect, but it's definitely, for me, one of the best books I've ever read. I would recommend this book to almost everyone, especially if they're intrigued by either nonfiction and or true crime stories.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bonnie, because I'm not normally interested in nonfiction books such as this one. However, something about the dark tone, suspense, mystery, and history of this novel was so intriguing that I would give it 5 stars as well.
I would definitely give the book 5 stars too. It's because of the way Larson was able to structure the story in such a unique way, and his vocabulary to get you immersed in the story was extremely well done. The overall story of the book was also very fascinating and a fun read, especially if you think of ways it applies to the present day and age. I'm really glad you guys liked the book. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.